Friends, welcome back to Anand Joshi Biology. Today it's going to be the study of animal types. Specifically, we are talking about a very common animal, cockroach. And in this second video, we'll discuss about digestive system of cockroach. Now this is the way the actual appearance of dissected cockroach will be there. After careful discussion, you can able to see all the allied parts which are there in the digestive system and associated glands. So friends, let's move on to the first component, and it is nothing but the digestive system, which is usually consisting of two parts. The first one, the alimentary canal, or simply it is called as a food tube, in which reception, conduction, digestion and elimination of food material takes place. And the second component, it consists of the glands, associated glands, which generally produce the secretion which are helpful for the process of digestion. So first, obviously, we will see alimentary canal, and then in the second part, it will be the associated glands. Now, if we see the digestive system of cockroach, generally it starts with mouth, then it leads to the buccal cavity, then it leads to pharynx, then it leads to esophagus, then crop, followed by gizzard, then the midgut or mesenteron, and hindgut that consists of ileum, colon and rectum, ending into the anal opening. Now alimentary canal, actually it is an elongated muscular glandular tube starting with the mouth and that ends into the anus. Alimentary canal can be further divided into three components: the initial part, that is called as foregut, the middle portion, that is midgut, and the third component, end part, that is called as hindgut. First we will discuss foregut. Foregut actually consists of mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, crop and gizzard. Foregut is lined by ectoderm, that is, it is a foregut that is ectodermal in origin, that is derived from embryonic stomodium. In foregut, the first component that we will discuss, mouth, or simply mouth parts, which are also referred as trophi. Mouth in cockroach is hypognathous, that is, the mouth faces the earth. It is on the downward side. Hypo, that is below, and gnatha, that is mouth. So mouth is facing the earth, and it is biting and chewing type of mouth parts are included, and it is also named as mandibular type. That means it is having jaws. Mandible, that is nothing but the jaws. Now cockroaches are omnivorous, and opportunistic cannibalism, that is eating self-space, is also observed. Now when we talk about omnivorous nature, they can eat anything and everything that come across. It may be vegetarian, it may be non-vegetarian material, and opportunistically, when forced, when they are facing the hunger problem, they can eat their own kind. That's why they are called as opportunistic cannibalism, which is there in the cockroaches. Generally, the trophi or mouth parts, it consists of 5 components that include 1 labrum, second 2 mandibles, then 2 maxilli, 1 labium and 1 hypopharynx. So labrum, mandibles, maxilli, labium and hypopharynx are the components of trophi or mouth parts. First component in the mouth part, it is always labrum. Now this labrum is attached to head capsule, that is diapause, and act as an upper lip. Labrum, it contains gustatory receptor, that is taste receptor, which are very significant as far as cockroaches are concerned. It was believed that more than 70 different type of taste a cockroach can have, and obviously it is a tasting organ which is there in the cockroaches. The second component, it is the mandibles. Now these mandibles, they are provided with denticles which are teeth-like structures and which are attached to the head capsule, that is clypeus, with ball and socket joint so that they can move freely whenever required. Mandibles are used for cutting the food and they also have tango receptor. Now tango receptor standing for touch receptor. The food material that comes in contact with mandible, it can be recognized and then the cockroach is able to decide whether it is to be engulfed or it is not. So mandibles, they contain the tango receptors. As you can see in the diagram, a pair of maxillies reported. Now these maxillies are attached to the lateral side of head capsule and they are made up of maxillary pulp, the elongated structure that are arising from the base, and that base is called as pulpature. Now maxillary pulp hold the food and they contain olfactory receptor that are used for sensation of smell. So this animal, it can hold the food material with the help of maxilli and slowly it can put that into the mouth. Along with that, it will have a sensation of smell also. The next component, as far as digestive system of cockroach is concerned, it is nothing but the labium. Now labium, it is also known as second maxilla, or even it is said to be the lower tip. It consists of three plate-like structure. Now these three plate-like structure, they consist of prementum, the first one, the mesentum, the second component, and the hind part, behind part, it is in the form of submentum. Now labium, it possesses gustatory and tango receptor, that is taste receptor as well as touch receptors. And the fifth component, it is in the form of hypopharynx. Now hypopharynx, it is also known as tongue or lingua as it is in Latin. Simply it is the tongue. At the base of hypopharynx, salivary glands are present which pour their secretion in the buccal cavity and that will help in the process of digestion of food material within the buccal cavity. Thus the second component of digestive system, it is nothing but the buccal cavity. Now in buccal cavity, that is also known as pre-oral chamber, food is masticated, that is mechanically broken down and mixed with the saliva. Now saliva in cockroach, it consists of amylase, which is an enzyme for digestion of starch, carbohydrate, and chitinase, the enzyme which is helpful for the digestion of chitin, the hard proteinaceous material that are present within the food. The pre-oral chamber or buccal cavity of cockroach, it can be divided into two components. The first one, it is called as cibarium. That is mastication part, mechanical digestion part where food material is broken down into the smaller pieces. The second component, it is called as salivarium. Now salivarium, as the name indicates, it will be the region where food material will be mixed with the saliva, and saliva that contain the enzyme for digestion. So initial part of the digestion of carbohydrate material, it will occur within the salivarium. Then the third component is that it is pharynx. In most of the organisms, pharynx is muscular, glandular, tubular, short passage of food that is starting from mouth cavity, buccal cavity, and then on another side it is opening into the esophagus. And that opening, it is guarded by a valve. The food material, the entry of food material within the esophagus can be controlled with the help of pharyngeal valve, which is characteristically present in the cockroaches. The fourth component in the digestive system of cockroach, it is esophagus. Now this esophagus, it is a simple, small, thin tube which is used for passage of food. Now from the esophagus, food simply passing down into the crop. The next component is obviously the crop. Now this crop, it is the broadest part of alimentary canal that occupies the entire thoracico-abdominal region in the dissected cockroach. If you dissect a cockroach, you open up the cockroach, the first thing you will notice is nothing but the bag-like, sac-like structure, that is crop. Many a time it is transparent also. You can able to see the food material which is present in it. Obviously, it is simply performing the role of storage. Whatever food material is masticated mixed with the saliva, it will be brought into the crop and it will be stored there temporarily. Fourth component is gizzard or proventriculus. Now it is a narrow circular passage of alimentary canal and it is provided internally with cuticular teeth, very hard, and which are used for mechanical breakdown or mechanical digestion of food material. Now here you can remember whatever food it is coming into the gizzard, it is already broken down to smaller pieces. But further mechanical digestion, it takes place within the gizzard, within the proventriculus with the help of cuticular teeth. Now this teeth margin of inner lining of gizzard, it is referred as armarium. And armarium, that is consisting of cuticular teeth, will definitely help in the mechanical digestion of food material, converting it into the very fine powdery material. Then the second part of the alimentary canal, it is called as midgut. Now this midgut, it is derived from endoderm, and even you can say it is derived from embryonic mesenteron layer, which is characteristic feature of non-chordates. Internally, midgut is folded into large number of villi and microvilli to increase the area of digestion and absorption. That is an most commonly adopted method in animalia, where for digestion and absorption, the organ is internally thrown into the finger-like projection, said to be the villi and microvilli. Now at the junction of gizzard and midgut, a valve is present, and that is said to be the stomodeal sphincter, which control the entry of food material into the midgut. The cells of the midgut, they secrete a proteinaceous membrane around the food particle, and that is called as peritrophic membrane. Now this is a unique feature of cockroaches. Whatever food material that is coming from the foregut which enters into the midgut, it will be packed. It will be surrounded by a proteinaceous membrane, and obviously that is referred as peritrophic membrane. Then the hindgut. Hindgut is actually derived from ectoderm, or even you can say it is the embryonic proctoderm where the hindgut can be derived. Hindgut usually consists of ileum, colon and rectum. If we see the ileum, it is internally six-folded. That six folds are again helpful for the process of absorption, and additionally it is also provided with chitinous spines, which are used for breaking down the peritrophic membrane around the food which is produced within the midgut. So friend, you can understand then when the food material is entering into the hindgut, it is already surrounded by a peritrophic membrane, a proteinaceous membrane, and for further digestion, this peritrophic membrane is to be broken down, it is to be teared up, and for that purpose, ileum will contain chitinous spines. Rectum, it is last part of the six longitudinal fold, and that is called as rectal papillae, which are also the same folds are there, and these are actually used for absorption of water and digested food and put out into the hemolymph. So rectum is absorbing organ for water and digested food. Then if we end the alimentary canal, obviously with the help of anus, it opens to outside, out of the body of cockroach in the 10th segment, that is in tergum of the 10th segment, the lower ventral portion of the body. Ejection of feces, the excretal palate, it takes place through the anus. All the undigested food, it will be put outside the body in the form of smaller pellet, and that is obviously through the anal portion. So that is the alimentary canal of cockroach. The second component of digestive system, it consists of alimentary canal as the first component, and the second component, it is called as associated glands. As such, in case of cockroach, two associated glands are there. The first one, that is called as salivary glands. Now actually salivary glands, they are a pair of bilobed, as you can see in the diagram, bilobed whitish salivary glands which are present around the esophagus and crop. Now these salivary glands, they secrete the saliva, and saliva, which consists of water for softening the food, mucus, which is making the slippery nature of the food, and enzyme that consists of salivary amylase used for digestion of carbohydrate, and chitinase, which is used for digestion of chitinous hard proteinaceous contents of the food. The second associated gland, it is called as hepatic sikhi. As you can see in the diagram, it is at the junction of fore and mid gut. At the junction of gizzard and midgut, 8 tubular finger-like projections are present. They are referred as hepatic sikhi. Simply you can consider this as liver of the cockroach. Now hepatic sikhi that produces digestive enzyme. Collectively they can be named, they can be compared as bile juice. And as we know, bile juice, it consists of bile salt, biliverdin and bilirubin, that is for digestion or emulsification of fat. Remember, this is an unique character of higher animals also, where digestion of fat, it is impossible unless and until it is broken down into smaller measles. And that breakdown of fats into the smaller measles, it is called as emulsification. So emulsification, essentially it is done with the help of bile juice even in the cockroaches. Under overcrowded condition, cockroaches show the tendency of eating its own kind that already we have discussed as cannibalism. So occasionally under overcrowded condition, under fasting condition, hunger condition, the cockroaches may show the ability of cannibalism, eating their own kind. That is again a unique feature of the cockroaches. So that is the second associated gland. You can say it is a hepatic sikhi compared to the liver in higher animals.